I'm going to make you folks an offer you can't refuse. If you want to look at a film that's going to change your life forever, the way you watch and look at film, I got a pretty good recommendation for you all to look at. I'm just sitting here right now, just recording this sumbitch, and just trying to find the right words to even describe this movie, not having any notes, just speaking from the fucking heart, pure passion and soul of a beloved film that everybody and their brother and their sister and their mother and their father, their grandparents, their great-grandparents, your uncles, your aunts, whomever, everybody and their friends and family have at least seen once in their lifetime. This is one of those movies where everyone is inspired to either become a writer, a film director, a screenplayer, an actor, or just an all-around film critic, filmologist, you name it. Anybody out there who just wants to get their name out there in the movie industry, everyone needs an inspiration, a particular movie or movies that they can say is what inspired them to love cinema and just fall in love with the concept of filmmaking, writing, casting, and all around just wanting a fucking story and characters that you want to believe in, that is real, that you can buy, that you're not seeing the performer themselves, you're seeing the actual character right there in front of your very eyes, making you believe in the seriousness and tone of what a movie is able to bring to you, realizing that you are seeing a series of events unfolding right before your fucking eyes. There's a lot of movies out there that falls under those definitions of what makes a movie a fucking movie, things that you seek and want. For me, when I watch a movie, I want storytelling. I want performances that I can fucking love and remember and quote and question about, movies that can still be talked about to this very fucking day, to where people can either do theories or what ifs or just scenarios, or just overall doing a talk in a comment section if a clip is on YouTube, or just gathering with your fucking friends and or family just to have a group discussion about a movie. And when you have a film that has been released where everybody is talking about it still to this very day, even if it's been released for so many years, that tells you the importance of how much of a movie became a fucking classic as time progressed. If a movie is loved and appreciated by everybody and is still being talked about and brought up or watched as time goes on, a movie has literally became a fucking classic. This film is one of those movies that everyone still talks about to this very fucking day, to where it's got its own YouTube channel where videos are still being put out talking about the three movies, this one, the second one, and the third one, just going over just very specific or even little things of what makes such all the characters and scenarios very interesting and just something to talk about and be very reminiscent with. Mario Puzo's The Godfather, which was a book that came out in 1969, but a couple years later, Francis Ford Coppola ended up turning this into a movie. Now, as for performances like Al Pacino, Marlon Brando, James Cain, and John Cazale, names like that, you knew that you're going to be invested into such an interesting cast. Now, Al Pacino, upcoming guy. Marlon Brando, he's already made a name for himself throughout the early 50s with a movie like A Streetcar Named Desire and One-Eyed Jack, or There was a movie where he played in a motorcycle gang. I don't know I can't remember the title off the top of my head, but if I written it down or if I seen it, then it probably would have come to me. I'll probably remember when I'm done recording this tape for you all of the name of that fucking biker film that Marlon Brando played in. But Marlon Brando was already a star right then and there, and became, you can say, a modern day legend around that time. Then you had James Caan, young, upcoming, good looking guy. Then you had John Cazale, same thing with Al Pacino and James Caan. Upcoming, good-looking guys. But the thing is that every performer needs a role that will hopefully signify and, you can say, write their career right then and there. Even if it doesn't get them an Oscar or an award, just them cementing their legacy and the start of their career in the film world, it only takes one specific performance to help them get their stardom. For some of these guys, this was one of those movies. Now, The Godfather, I can talk about the ending, I can talk about the middle, I can talk about the fucking first scene, second act, whatever. It's a long movie, but goddamn, it goes by in an instant. You don't even feel like it's that fucking long because there's so many events that transpire in this fucking movie that, like I said, everyone still talks about. I can go over and recap the entire fucking movie from beginning to end, just talking to you all face to face right here about what goes on, what the story is and everything, but I'll be here all fucking night just even talking about it. But I'm going to try and do the best I can to go over key significant things of what I absolutely love about The Godfather and what makes it such an impactful film, not only to me of what makes me love film, but one of the biggest impactful films that I grew up watching. But for a lot of the young folks out there today who want to look for a film to help them get a stardom, if it's being a critic or getting into the prominence of just acting, or if you want to be a stage actor for all I care, watch The Godfather if you want fucking storytelling or everything that you seek in a film. Hell, for a lot of the people out there who watch this, for anybody who says some of their all-time favorite movies, if it's a top 5 or number 1 or whatever the case may be, people are going to undisputably say The Godfather is in their list. And rightfully fucking so. This movie was ahead of its time with these key points: performance, cinematography, visuals, storytelling, believability, seriousness, events that you really truly believe is based off a real life scenario within the mob industry. And those are some of the, at least, that was that 7 points? 7 points right then and there that I can at least think of off the top of my head. I'll probably name more as I go along the way. But, folks, the movie starts off, you know how it goes. It's just the music, the title, and it goes right into Marlon Brando, Vito Corleone talking to The Undertaker about an unfortunate event to his daughter where she ended up getting beaten up by a bunch of thugs. You see exactly how brilliant, just within the first opening minutes, how much of a brilliant actor Marlon Brando is, but how he was able to take the character of Vito Corleone and just turn it into his own. Just the demeanor, the look. Even when he was talking to that singer, Johnny Valentino, I think, if memory speaks his name, how he came in throughout the day of his daughter's wedding, singing, doing a song, and talking about exactly what happened, where this film producer was able, literally took away his fucking role of being in a film, and then all of a sudden, The Godfather told him, I'm going to make you an offer that you cannot refuse. Ronald Duvall, who was in this movie, playing as Tom Hagen, who was the concierge, the counselor for the Corleone family. Great fucking choice for a supporting actor. But the thing is, folks, when you see Vito Corleone on the screen, just with the tone, the look on his fucking face, how calm and collected he is, how respectful, and how much family means to him. The fact that when you see someone who is the godfather, the dawn of the entire family, you got to be respectful, you got to be grateful, you got to show exactly the amount of respect and love and support that if you want your wishes to be filled, then you got to give the godfather the respect that he absolutely deserves. Vito Corleone was never angry, he was never mad, he was a cool, calm guy, and he told it like it was. He was all about his fucking family. You had Sonny Corleone, you had Fredo Corleone, and you had Michael Corleone. Now, each one of the personalities in the film is incredible. Sonny Corleone, the oldest of the brothers, he was obviously the hothead. He was wanting to be a businessman, but because of his temper, there was a lot of troubles within the families of Bruno Tattaglia family and the Bozzini family. There was some things going on between them that Sonny Corleone wasn't necessarily able to take because of his temper, and for him wanting to start stuff. Now, he's been reminded quite a few times, this is nothing personal, it's only business. Fredo Corleone, he's the middle brother. He was obviously someone who you could say wasn't necessarily all in the right mindset of wanting to take the family business seriously, even though he was a part of it, obviously. But the thing is that he wasn't necessarily all there in the right frame of mind, being the middle brother. Then you had Michael Corleone. In the movie itself, he was just a stand-up college war hero fighting for his country. Had a beautiful woman, had wanted nothing to do with the family business whatsoever. And he swore at the beginning of the movie that he wanted nothing to do of being a part of the business or getting involved with his father's arrangements. But as time progressed, you see Michael Corleone changing from one person to another. Now, the thing is that throughout the movie, there's lots of discussions, lots of dialogue going on. You see Tom Hagen going over to the film producer, seeing exactly what happens when you make an offer you can't refuse. How someone like Tom Hagen was able to make a talk with the film producer and tell him exactly what deal I'm trying to make, but if you refuse, then you got to face the consequences. Then giving Johnny Valentino the role in the movie that he absolutely deserved. But as time progressed in the film, you see a lot of business resolves going on between Vito Corleone and Sollozzo. Obviously, while the meeting was being adjourned, Sollozzo wasn't very happy with Vito Corleone turning down his offer. So lots of things happened to where the Godfather ended up getting almost assassinated right there, thus putting him in the hospital. But then, while Michael Corleone ends up going to his pops' bedside in the hospital, there was some shit going on. Here came McCluskey, a cop who ended up ending in the riffraffs of drug deals and going wrong. Not living up to his oath of being a stand-up, honest cop, he ends up getting into the riffraffs of drug deals and a bunch of other controversial bullshit that happens. The thing is that later on in the movie, when you see Michael Corleone, he goes into the family business, goes into the room talking with Clemenza and Hagen and Sonny about this whole entire ordeal while Sonny is being the temporarily active boss throughout the moment. Michael sets up this deal of to where he wants to meet him in a public establishment of a bar or restaurant, and how he wants to assassinate Sollozzo himself to avenge his father after what happened. So to continue the meeting, Michael being the reasonable one, everyone was laughing at him thinking that his idea was fucking crazy. But once it was all set up and the meeting was set, standard right there, Michael Corleone ends up meeting with Sollozzo and McCluskey going into the restaurant to discuss business. So obviously Sollozzo and Michael were talking business right then and there of whatever's being adjourned in Italian. Once Michael got up to go to the bathroom, he said in the meeting between him and his family that, place a gun there, I will kill them both, shoot them both in the head one time each. Clemenza gave him the rundown of what exactly he needs to do with specific instructions. Once Michael came back with the gun in his pocket, Sollozzo keeps on talking. You want to understand something of what makes an amazing character study is where you are looking at the performance. Michael's sitting there. You have no idea of what's going on through his mind, but only speculating. Even in his mind, he's thinking, once he pulls that fucking trigger on both McCluskey and Sollozzo, his life is going to fucking change forever and there is no going back. So once he put the bullet between both McCluskey and Sollozzo's head and got out of the restaurant to go to Italy, that changed his life forever. Because there was no turning back. He went from being a college, stand-up, all-American war hero to end up getting himself in trouble with the family business, and all the presses and paper goes released. All hell breaks loose throughout New York. Character study and visuals like that, where not even much dialogue needs to be said of what's going through a character's mind. All you need to do is look at their fucking facial expression, look what's going on in their eyes, and realize what it is that they are fucking going through and what's gonna happen. Something like that, when you see shit like that in the movie to where you are realizing what's going to happen with a said character, just by the demeanor of their reactions is making you believe of what you are witnessing. Fucking outstanding performances. A performance by someone like Al Pacino is coming up in the movies like this. For him to deliver something like that alone, with just in the opening starts of the movie, is fucking phenomenal. When he goes over to Italy, there's some back and forth going on between Vito coming back home. He realizing where Michael is and found out exactly what happened. And once Vito heard that Michael was the one who pulled the job done, you saw just without even speaking that he was in fucking sorrow because Michael was a good kid. He believed that he didn't want Michael to be a part of this because Michael was an innocent fellow. When you saw Michael in Italy, you saw his whole entire life change right then and there. He's in Italy. He's got protection. He meets up with Abalone. How he falls in love with her. The real, true love of his life right there. He gets married, wants to start a family, tries to think that it's all set and done. But once the assassination of Abalone and Michael got betrayed, what happened with that business meeting changed his life forever. But once he also heard the news that his brother Sonny got killed, because the thing is that for anybody out there who knows is that there was also a side story happening between Carlo and the Corleone brother's sister. The Corleone brother's sister Connie, because Carlo and Connie were the ones that the marriage was going on. But the thing is that the side story of what you were main focusing on. See, that's another thing about this movie is that there's within the main story that you are watching, there's also a side thing that is happening that I'm sure folks are probably aware or not aware. But if you pay attention to this movie, even if you watch on rewatch, you realize there's a side thing going on between Carlos and Connie. Now, once it was found out that Sonny got assassinated by the Bazzini family that was later established in the movie. Once Michael found out that Sonny got assassinated, the thing is that his heart died right there. But once he saw in front of his eyes that the love of his life ended up getting assassinated right there, his fucking soul died. And once he went back to New York, he fucking changed from being a stand-up, polite, innocent man to a ruthless, cold-hearted, calm, collected mob boss. Progression in a character like that is incredible. And the thing is that when you see someone like Michael Corleone, see character study like that, from changing from a personality that you thought that wasn't going to change at all, but ends up changing to a whole entire somebody else, a 180 like that, catching you off guard and realizing exactly what the fuck's going to happen. Character study like that and progression of what's going on with the movie it's flawless. Absolutely flawless. Now, Michael Corleone, he comes back to New York. He hears about the bullshit that's going on. He sets up a meeting to where once Michael Corleone set up the whole entire procedure of putting the family business aside, of handling it all together, all of the men end up taking care of Michael's work while he attends the christening and the baptism of Carlos and Connie's christening for their child. All business aside, Michael's all calm and collected while he knows what's going on through his mind. When you see all this shit transpiring, it's amazing. But folks, The Godfather is a movie to where, I mean, like I said, I could have gone through all sorts of details talking about this movie. I know I'm probably missing a lot right now, but I just wanted to go over some key elements of some of the big moments of what made this movie so fucking incredible, where you got your good guys, you got your bad guys, you see the entire landscape of what it means to live up to the standards of that nothing is personal, it's only business. You see performances by Al Pacino, Marlon Brando, James Caan, John Cazale. How all these particular actors lived up to the performances, where you see a side story going on to where you see the betrayal of how Carlos was able to get Sonny assassinated because of his bullshit, because there was a lot of jealousy I'm sure Carlos was happening. Even the embarrassment he got when Sonny beat the fuck out of him in the middle of the public like that after Sonny found out that Carlos was abusing the hell out of his sister. revenge like that and threats. See, the thing is that Carlos' assassination alone, when he got killed, Sonny, he was scary and everything in terms of, being violent and yelling and all that, but the thing is that didn't stop Carlos' ways. But once he came in contact with Michael, Carlos was begging, he was pleading, he was dribbling like a child. Why? Because the people who are calm, collected, and have their patience are the most intimidating ones. And that's why Michael was able to intimidate Carlos the way he did. That is fucking slick right there. So folks, this movie is a fucking masterpiece with with literally some of the greatest performances you will ever witness in a film from both supporting and leading roles. From seeing a fucking story unfolding right before your eyes of what you truly believe was a mob story, from taking from a book and putting it on the screen, making you believe a real life scenario that happened in history alone, seeing a family from the rise to the fucking downfall of the Corleones, of what transpires within the events of seeing one brother get killed and one moving away and another one taking power, to leading to the main Godfather and his unfortunate passing, seeing one generation hopefully coming up to another, setting up to exactly from Michael Corleone being a laughingstock originally to becoming a fucking serious mob boss that everyone grew to fucking respect. Performances like this where you see the alternative of the bad guys, calm as a bitch. You see the fucking stories alone of whatever happened in Italy and the side alone. Just so many things happening in The Godfather, what makes this a believable movie and just absolutely masterful. The storytelling is every fucking thing. So much shit happens that is just, it's just, there's no more words for me to say. The Godfather's a movie that I gave a perfect 6 out of 5 to. What else is there for me to add on? You got performances that you will be sucked in. You got a story from the beginning to the fucking end that you will be absolutely glued to watching and loving. This movie is a fucking masterpiece. It is a cinematic achievement. It is ahead of its time of what film should be all about, with story, presentation, a mood, adaptation or original story, whatever. You're taking your source material and turning it into its own fucking film. It's a movie that still people are talking about to this very fucking day, and rightfully so. So folks, this is going to be my talk on The Godfather. I absolutely love this movie. Let me know down below your thoughts about it. Ciao for now.